Howdy, folks. Welcome back to another episode of Tactically Inappropriate. Today, we're going to be interviewing Kevin Sorbo with my co host, Chris Smith. Thank you guys for joining us.
Hey, Kevin, thank you for coming in, man. I'm really excited. I know Kyle's young and a lot of our viewers are young, but I'm 41, so I grew up watching Hercules, and really excited about having you on today.
Yeah, that just makes me feel old because you were 9 years old when we started filming the series. We shot from 1993 to 2000 out in beautiful New Zealand, and most of my crew went on to work on Lord of the Rings after we wrapped filming because Peter Jackson would come on the set a lot and see how the crew was developing because they never really had that big of an infrastructure for movies or TV shows in New Zealand. And we kind of, as Peter told me after the third Lord of the Rings came out, he invited me to the Oscars, and he said, "It's your show that really created the industry in New Zealand." And I said, "That's quite a compliment, Peter, but you didn't give me one freaking role in Lord of the Rings. I mean, come on."
Weren't you?
I watched all three of them. There's more than one actor in Lord of the Rings.
You're a little too big to be in Lord of the Rings, aren't you? They were all. I guess they could have CGI'd everybody, but they're a little small in that. They could have made you a giant in there.
I could have done something. I would have taken anything. No, actually, I couldn't have because I went straight from that show to Vancouver, Canada for 5 years. I shot Andromeda, which is the first show Gene Roddenberry created after Star Trek way back in 1969. So my captain, Dylan Hunt, was the first captain after Captain Kirk. So that was kind of cool to play that role for 5 years.
I've seen a few episodes of Andromeda. I didn't get into it as much as Hercules. I loved Hercules when I was growing up.
We were on 176 countries. By season 3, we were the most watched show in the world. I know it's a sin of pride, but how many actors can say they've had the most hit shows in the world? And I'm hoping a lot of these parents now between 35 and 50 that grew up watching it, I'm hoping that they're having their kids watch it now too in the rerun.
I'm actually gonna pull it up for my kids after this weekend. I
Cool.
got it planned to let my kids watch it this weekend after
Awesome.
the interview. So I'm excited about that. But so we know you're into a lot of faith-based movies now, which is great. I watch Angel Studios myself. Sound of Freedom was a huge one that pretty much, for me, got you guys on the map. I started paying attention to Angel. And didn't your wife found Angel Studios?
No, we have Sorbo Studios.
Okay.
The guys at Angel Studios, the Jordan brothers, there. We're talking to them quite a bit. We haven't done anything with them yet, but we have a couple things on the pipeline with them. In fact, I saw all three of the brothers in London recently. We were at a convention that was being run by Jordan Peterson. There's about 4,000 people. There was 4 days of really good connections for us and stuff. So I know those guys well. We're talking about it, but really my first movies were with PureFlix, which doesn't exist anymore.
I'd seen a couple of things on Netflix.
Yeah, so my first really faith-based movie with them was What If. The same writers that did God's Not Dead did What If a couple years earlier. And in my book, What If is a better movie. So I highly recommend people to check out What If. If they want to get a copy, they can go to Sorbo Studios. I'll give them an autograph on it. But the movie did so well just in the last 6 years in streaming that even though it's 15 years old, they're re-releasing it in theaters this August. So you can see it in theaters in August. And it was directed by Dallas Jenkins, who's doing The Chosen right now.
Oh, that's awesome. I did not know that. I'll have to check that one out myself.
So that kind of got me going. And then of course, God's Not Dead was a massive hit, even though I think
it was.
What If better. And then I've done a lot. Light There Be Lights. I did 2 movies that I directed in theaters about a year and a half ago. Miracle in East Texas, true story set in 1930 about the largest oil find in the history of the world. And then Left Behind, Rise of the Antichrist, based on the Left Behind books written by Jerry Jenkins, who's Dallas Jenkins' father. So there's your full circle story right there.
What got you into doing the faith-based movies?
Well, part of me, I call them faith-based for so long, but I think every movie is faith-based because if you're an atheist, that's a really strong faith. To believe in absolutely nothing,
right? It's
sad. These guys are filled with no hope whatsoever, but every movie's got sort of a faith element to it, of some kind of faith. But I grew up Christian, and I grew up loving a lot of the movies Hollywood used to do, and didn't necessarily have to be a faith-based or Christian movie. But when I did What If, followed by God's Not Dead, and the number of people now that stop me in airports, hotel lobbies, wherever, it's really, they don't talk about Hercules or Andromeda anymore. They talk about those movies. And they say, please keep making movies like that because these are movies I know my kids can see. because other than liberal parents who are dragging their kids to Snow White, which that movie's probably going to lose about $250 million. Thank God, another woke movie's bombing for Disney. People are tired of it. They're tired of the woke agenda. They're tired that they keep pumping the same crap over and over again. And I like the fact that people stop me and say, if I see a Kevin Sorbo movie, I know it's going to be good for my kids, which is great.
Mm-hmm. So, Kevin, I want to ask, what is it like being a conservative Christian, making movies in Hollywood? How is that? Because, as you know, a lot of these actors and a lot of these production studios are very, very liberal.
Most of Hollywood is liberal. Here's the thing. I escaped California 6.5 years ago. I left the worst governor in the country, California. I lived with the best governor with DeSantis here in Florida. And to me, I'm actually ground zero for Hollywood. 12 years ago, my manager and agent called me into the office, and I said, they're never together at the same time. So I thought, what is this, an intervention? It sort of ended up being one. They said, we can't work with you anymore. The studios don't want to work with you for the things you're posting on the internet. I go, I'm posting the truth. Do they have a problem with the truth? And as you know, the liberals always have a problem with truth, because to them, 2 + 2 is 5. That's their truth, as they say. They don't deal in reality whatsoever. So I'm the original ground zero cancel culture victim in Hollywood. So my wife and I, we formed Sorbo Studios to do our own movies. And, every time we've raised enough money, I do movies in the 3 million range. So every time I've raised enough money to do a movie, it's always been a God thing. And I want to do movies that have a positive impact. I want to do movies that have hope, love, laughter, redemption, faith, whatever it may be. I want to do movies that are more positive, because you see what they're doing, not only this through movies, but for the television of all things. Walt Disney said back in the 1950s, movies and television will influence our youth. And he meant that good and bad. And we've seen what's going on. And now we got this amazing thing that we're able to talk this way on the internet, but the internet is the bloody Wild West. There's so much crap and evil and hate out there, because all these punks that sit in their basement, they're 38 years old, still living in their mom's basement. They're very brave at 3 a.m. to attack you, to attack me.
Absolutely.
But they don't have the balls to do it in person. And a couple have come up in my face, and I go, just because you yell loud doesn't make you right. I said, I'm happy to have a discussion with you if you want to have a real discussion. But you know that a lot of people, all they have is anger and hate in their lives, because they don't like who they are. I can guarantee you, they're probably from a really broken family. They probably have a problem with drinking, a problem with drugs. They probably don't have a girlfriend in their lives. They probably don't have a job they like. They're probably living off the taxes you and I pay. And they want to take their frustration of being failures out on people like you and me.
How do you handle that? I know for me at the beginning it was very hard, but when you first when you first came out posting conservative stuff, Christian stuff, and started to get sort of this cancel culture, because if you ask me, you're only cancelable if you let yourself be canceled. How do you handle some of the negativity that comes with what you do?
Well, initially it bothered me, but then I got to a point and said, I don't care. I really don't care, because along with the same thing with you, think about it. We have more than half the country agrees with what we're doing and what we're saying.
Absolutely.
We're in the majority. The only thing that gives these punks a voice is our screwed up liberal mainstream media and the liberal libtards in Washington, D.C. I think it's a blessing that in 2020 that the liberals stole the election. Let's face it, we know that was a stolen election. Right. We know that Trump had more votes. But I'm fine with that, because it showed the world, not only America, but showed the world how insanely corrupt our government is. And it's a blessing that Trump got back in and the stuff he's doing. I saw him about 2 weeks ago at Trump International Golf Course. I've known him for 20 years. And I came up to him. He was with Gary Player, who's a very famous golfer. He's like in his 80s now, but he's one of only 5 golfers that have won.
I'm old enough to know Gary Player. I'm sure Kyle.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
Well, just so you know, Gary Player is one of only 5 players that won all 4 majors. And in his world, in your world, Kyle, it would be Tiger Woods. But then Jack Nicklaus is part of that, and Ben Hogan, and I believe it's Walter Hagen. And so those are the guys that are the only ones that have won all 4 majors. You got guys like Rory McIlroy that are on the cusp, or Jordan Spieth. They each need 1 more major to have all 4, but it's not easy to do, obviously. And so I just look at what Hollywood's doing, and I laugh at them, because they're like, it's like being a Christian in Hollywood and a conservative is like being a double leper to these people. So to me, I just fight on. I don't care anymore what people say. I don't even look at the stupid comments. I've got 2.5 million followers on X. I had over 4 million on Facebook. But Zuckerberg and his little wussies minions took me down 3.5 years ago for posting everything I was posting was the truth about COVID. Because the stuff I was getting fed were from doctor friends of mine that are at very big, respectable hospitals. And they said, we can't say anything. They're going to fire us. But everything, I would say 6 feet's a joke, right? And I said, oh yeah, oh yeah. One of them said, if you really don't want to pick up any diseases from anybody, cold or flu, probably be 20 feet or more. Well, we can't live 20 feet apart. Right. It just would never work. And then I said, and the COVID shots are a joke too, right? He goes, oh yeah, they're a trial test. And now we're seeing, we saw all these young kids dropping, high school kids and college kids dropping on football fields and rugby fields and soccer fields just after they took these shots. And, we know that it's causing clots. It's still it's an experiment that is going to keep playing out for a long time. And now they just came out. What came out? Who came out with New York Times came out, admitted that they were lying about COVID the whole time.
Well, and they won't admit that these young guys are dropping dead or passing out or fall, like the NFL player a couple of years ago. They won't link it to the vaccine at all. And I mean,
no, of course not.
It's a huge cover up now. The problem that we see though is, we're all called conspiracy theorists for 5 years, and then 15 years later, we're proven right, and nobody does anything about it. And then the new thing comes out, and then we're labeled conspiracy theorists again, and then we're proven right. But everybody's, they don't ever see the writing on the wall right then. And then they just dismiss it when it comes out to be true. And it happens over and over again.
It's really amazing. I mean, it really is. I mean, because every one of my, I posted on X, I said, I need more conspiracy theories because all of mine keep coming true. Right. And it's a fact, and they are. They hate, they will never admit it. Mainstream media will never admit it. Punks, losers like Rachel Maddow, whatever the heck her name is, she'll never admit that she was wrong. Because, I've got her on tape when the first shot came out. You take this tape, this shot, and you'll never, ever get COVID. Then people got COVID. Okay, take another shot and wear a second mask. You still got COVID. Okay, take a booster. What the hell is the difference between a booster and a shot?
Exactly.
People are wearing shields. They got 3 masks on. I remember getting in the airplane with people and they're rubbing everything down. They're sitting next to me. They're afraid next to me because I got my mask off the whole time because I was eating beef jerky the whole time on purpose. So it's like, they're so easy to get pissed off. Look at the latest thing with these Tesla punks. I mean, I would think the majority of Tesla owners are probably liberal because they jumped on board the old culture, the old climate change BS and said, oh, the world's coming to end. Oh, Elon Musk, the savior, we got electric cars now. And so you got Tesla people scratching probably liberals attacking liberal people in their Tesla cars. I mean, they are the gift that keeps giving. These people are so easy to make little robots out of them and just shoot, we can shift them this way to be mad about this. They wake up every morning going, so what's going to piss me off today? And what a horrible way to live once again, but this is what these people do.
Let's get offended by everything.
Yes.
I will tell you, Kevin, COVID was great for me. COVID happened right during my shooting, and I was bailed out 87 days after being in jail. Nobody recognized me. I got to wear a mask and still go out with COVID. The only downside is I'm just waiting for my heart to stop because I was forced to get the COVID vaccine.
What?
Unfortunately, it's a story I've only told a couple of times.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, while I was awaiting trial, I was told that I either need to wear a mask and look like a prisoner during my trial or get the COVID vaccine. So I said, okay, let's look at this. Spend the rest of my life in prison because the jury thinks I'm a prisoner because optics are everything in a courtroom.
Of course.
Or get the COVID vaccine and maybe live a good 5 to 6 years of life as a free man. So I got the jab.
Did you get just one?
No,
or did you have to get boosters?
I got the Pfizer first shot. So I'm just waiting for my heart to stop.
Did you have any complications?
Well, the worst one is Moderna. That's what you got to worry about.
That's the one my attorney got.
Did your attorney have any issues from that?
Well, I'm not going to talk about his health issues on camera, but there are some health issues going on right now.
Well, I'm gonna introduce you a buddy of mine who's got a company called NutriMedics. He's gonna put you in the right protocol with supplements and vitamins that are gonna help you get rid of that crap they put in your bodies. But I'm telling you right now, we probably know they've been injecting the chickens with it, and injecting the cows, so we still get it one way or the other.
Yep.
Yeah, our food has been corrupted for at least 20 years
pathetic.
now.
It's pathetic what they've done to the country and the world. Fauci, he's my new swear word on the golf course. I golf a lot. And instead of the one F word, I say Fauci because it's got an F, a U, and a C in that name too. So that guy should be in prison. He should be in prison.
Absolutely.
Brandon, I heard you started a new business.
That's right, he did. Well, you can cut that sexual tension with a knife, but yes, Eli, I did.
Help me.
I will, right after I tell you about my new company, WeDon'tSellBoatAnchors.com. You guys know I built my entire brand off of boat anchors.
Brandon's my favorite boat anchor tuber.
Well, now we built a website that will allow you to buy boat anchors at dealer price.
All my anchors were lost in a boating accident.
So if you want access to dealer pricing on boat anchors and boat anchor accessories, check out WeDon'tSellBoatAnchors.com.
WeDon'tSellBoatAnchors.com.
We don't sell boat anchors.
And prison, honestly, prison's probably too good for what he's done. How many people he's killed?
He should be in the death penalty.
Yeah, he really should. He should have the death penalty. I mean, we used to hang people.
He lied to Congress every time they brought him in.
Right.
Lied like a little mother that he is.
I mean,
and it's just and he got pardoned. Why did he get pardoned? Why would Biden give a guy a pardon that wasn't convicted of? All pardons really come from crimes you've been convicted of. What crime was he convicted of? So they're admitting that this guy was evil. They're admitting this guy was just a punk, and that's what he is. He's just a punk.
He's probably responsible for more people's deaths than Hitler. I mean,
than Hitler or Stalin. Stalin killed 20 million of his own people.
Absolutely, and I mean,
people don't talk about that.
No, it's pretty absurd the amount of people that Fauci's probably responsible for killing. I mean, we know now, and we knew to begin with that it came from China, and Fauci probably had something to do with it being developed. I mean, there's a lot of evidence, right? Absolutely. So, I want to go back to when you were talking about these liberals behind their keyboards. Kyle came to work at our gun store about 2 months ago. And we made a social media release on Facebook, and these people that have never heard of us, not even from Florida, just all over the country, it starts popping up on their feeds. And the things that these people had the balls to say was absurd. They were like, "We're going to wait for you when you get off work. We're going to do this. We're going to come in there and do that." And there's no repercussions to those guys behind that keyboard. Now, obviously, they're not going to come into a gun store like ours and start doing anything. But the fact that they have the balls to say this stuff on social media is just absurd, and it shows how much power that they've given this keyboard. But then they'll say that we should be put behind bars for just talking about God or talking about any sort of conservative issues, talking about talking about abortions and things like that, and we should be put in prison. But these guys will literally try to kill you or make threats on your life for it, and there's no repercussions for them.
Yeah, and there should be, because they are for political figures that are charged. That if there's a death threat on the president, they're going to go and track that person down and find out who he is. I get death threats. I've got death threats before as well. And to me, it's once again, I chalk it up that these people are people that just hate who they are. They look in the mirror and hate who they are. And it's crazy to me. But, we got to do the best that we can do and fight back. I wish we could, I'm happy to use my tax dollars to ship these people to the utopia that they want to turn America to do.
Right.
Happy to send them to North Korea, Venezuela, any of the Middle East countries other than Israel, Russia even. We'll even give them Russia. And, go live in your utopia. And, our education system is so crappy, and it's only gotten worse over the last 30 years. We used to be, but prior to the 1960s, we were the #1 most best educated country in the world. We're like 30 now. And Trump's working hard on that. He is getting rid of the NEA. That's going to be gone. Because all they do is get more and more money, and all they do is hire more and more people to do nothing, and we keep dumbing down our kids. The majority of kids can't even read at a 3rd grade level in 8th grade, even in the math and stuff. It's unbelievable, these test scores that are coming out. And some people are mad that Trump's getting rid of the NEA, and that was set up by Carter, the 1979, one of his last wonderful things he did as one of the worst presidents in the country. He's in the bottom 5 along with Biden and certainly Obama as well. But the left will never admit to it. That's the weirdest thing. I mean, Trump literally could cure cancer and they'll still attack him. It's amazing to me that the left is upset that Musk is finding out how much of our billions of dollars of our taxpayer dollars are being wasted on stupid things, and people are upset about that. This is going to put money back in America's pockets. And my liberal friends, I told them 4 years from now, you won't admit that your life is better, but behind closed doors, you will.
That's right. They talk, and luckily here in Florida, we have school vouchers now, so we can decide what we want to do with our kids' education. I send my kids to a local Christian school, and they got their test scores back about 3 months ago. And my daughter, who's in 4th grade, all of her levels were on a 9th and a 10th grade level. And I'm not saying that to brag about how high my daughter is testing. I'm saying that to show how low we've lowered the standards in this country, according to public school records, because let's be honest. I mean, my 10-year-old's probably shouldn't be graduating high school right now, but according to the test scores and what they graded them on, she could graduate high school right now just because she's in a private school that actually focuses on things that we need to be learning versus public school where they spend more money to per kid per student. They spend more money. And they get such a worse education.
And they just pass them through.
And it proves over and over again how dumb. Look, one of the blessings of COVID is parents really started finally taking a look when they closed the schools down at what's going on with the school boards and the school system. And they kind of went, wow, maybe we shouldn't use public schools as a babysitting service for our kids. 2 million more families are homeschooling now, 2 million more, because they looked at the crap that's going on. Right. They said, enough is enough of this crap. We don't need this. We don't need boys pretending to be girls running on the track team or playing on the basketball team with women. There's so many things you can look at that is so stupid about the world right now.
Isn't it absurd that people that think they're standing up for women's rights will let a man go run in a track meet against women and champion them as the best woman athlete in the world? That's absurd to me.
We're forced now to celebrate mental illness as a normal thing.
Right.
I mean, I feel if you're a chick, think you're a dude, or a dude, think you're a chick. I feel sorry for people who are going through that. But the reality is, if you got a penis, you're a guy. If you're a vagina, you're a woman. It's as simple as that. And I did a movie last year with this girl that's going to University of Virginia, and I asked her what she's majoring in college. She said gender studies, and I laughed. And I looked at her because I go, "Oh, you're serious? Gender studies is an actual program at the University of Virginia?" I said, "What are you going to do with that?" I said, "I could have saved your parents $200,000, male, female. There you go. You just graduated." Because with a degree like that, sweetheart, I told you, you're going to end up working at a Starbucks in some airport.
That's exactly right.
What do you do with a degree like that? It's completely useless. And shame on her parents for funding that. Get a real degree. Get something in engineering or math or science or something.
And then she'll be complaining she can't afford her student loans because she can't find a job.
Well, what did Biden say? Don't worry, we're gonna raise your student loans. And I laughed when they said that because they've said that before in the past. That's just the BS thing to make you vote for me. Mm-hmm. Did they ever get rid of kids paying back their student loans? Of course not.
Right.
Of course not. But they're mad at Trump for saying, I'm going to do A, B, and C, and he does it. Oh, how dare you do this? You're making the country better. You know, and people forget this country was founded on Christian values. That's what this country was. Our founding fathers were all men of faith. And they knew when they're going up against St. George, King George there, that they were putting their lives in danger, that if they would have lost, they'd all been hung for treason.
Right. Yep. Hey, so Kevin, you guys at Sorbo Studios, you have a couple of movies coming out this summer. Is that right?
I do. I've got two more secular movies, but they were just fun to do. They're both comedies. One is like the Zombieland movie that came out a few years ago. And I play a 700-year-old zombie. I mean, vampire. I play a 700-year-old vampire. And the other one, it's a zombie versus aliens movie, and it's very funny. And I shot that movie with my son Braden was in it. It was shot in Montana, just down the road from the Yellowstone guys. And by the way, I brought up Braden's name, so I know you guys want to talk a little guns. I can say what I got in terms of I got this Glock, I got a shotgun. You got to bring Braden on. He knows his guns. He'd be right up your alley. He'd give you guys a run for your money on knowledge of guns. I'm just like, this is a shotgun. This got a wide spread. Okay, there you go. No more problem over here. You know. So exactly. If anybody comes down our way, forget about it. I'm not worried about it. I do want to go back though, because talk about these punks. I look at these Antifa punks. Trump is going to make it. If you're covering your faces, you're going to get arrested. You are now a terrorist. We got to get rid of these guys. Walking down the streets. These are probably mostly white spoiled guys. And they got, they've had everything handed to them in their lives, but now they're upset that they're, whatever reasons. But if you're going to be on a college campus and support Hamas, and free Palestine, do all this crap. Take your mask off, you bunch of cowards. You are a bunch of cowards.
I think if you go out and you say support Hamas, support Palestine, I honestly think I'd be willing to figure out some funding to get them down there, send them to Palestine, send them to the Gaza Strip, watch them throw them off the roof for being gay or homosexual or supporting some of the things they support, because they will be thrown off the roof.
Queers for Hamas, you saw the signs.
That's the craziest thing.
That's like the blacks going the blacks for KKK.
Exactly.
It really is.
The weirdest thing in the world.
It's absurd.
So bizarre.
So we're going to have to get you and your son up here. Where are you guys located in Florida?
We live in West Palm Beach.
Okay, it's a trek up here to Pensacola for you guys, but we're gonna have to.
My brother lived up there for a long time. His daughters both graduated from that Bible college up there.
Yeah, Pensacola State. Or Pensacola Christian. Yeah, I was there with some friends. I have some friends that graduated there, and they let alumni go back.
Oh my gosh! And a lot of the tuition is covered by other people. I mean, I don't think it's more than $10,000 a year to go there or something. It's amazing.
They have such a cool student center. They have a bowling alley in there, rock climbing. Yes, it's absolutely awesome.
It's pretty impressive.
We'll have to get you guys up here to do some shooting, come shoot some machine guns and things like that. It'd be a lot of fun. I think it'd be cool though if we can shoot some content and we put Hercules with a machine gun. Can we pull that off?
I think it'd be a blast. Look, I just did a little documentary with the it's called The Warrior's Journey. They're based in Kansas City, outside in Kansas, and I just shot with some Navy SEALs, and these guys are badass. These guys, 15 and 22 years, each of these guys. And from a distance, I mean, we put some little tiny explosives out there about, 120 yards out with just a little can. You could barely see the top of it through the scope. And I hit one and it didn't blow up. And you can see the thing move.
Tannerite.
And they thought that was weird. But then once these guys get up there, oh my gosh, it's like bing, bing, bing. And it's like, I'm glad you're on my side.
I tell you what,
I'm speaking at their event later next month.
I have a old car that doesn't run anymore. So when you guys come out, we'll blow this car up with Tannerite. We'll let you guys shoot it and blow the car up with Tannerite. And we'll shoot some fun content.
Love it. So
that'll be.
But they had one with a handgun. They had these. They put this plant out there about 20 feet away to make it realistic, like there's a house invasion or something.
Right.
And they had three little targets on each side. When you hit the target, it flips over to the other side. And I hit it 5 times in a row. So I was pretty happy about that, because it can't be any more than that big. It's not a huge target. But those guys, it's like, 19 out of 20. Right.
So Kevin, we're running on to that time of the show. We're about to hop off. I want to leave you with the final words. Where can people find you on social media? Where can people find your movies? How can people support you?
Please go to sorbostudios.com. Sorbo Studios, SORBO is my last name, studios.com. It's my wife's site along with mine. It's got her stuff, my stuff, and all of her stuff in the middle. We have some amazing things coming up. I'm hosting our second annual, it's a Comic-Con style event, but it's called Rise Up Con. If you go to riseupcon.com, get all kinds of information. It's going to be in Gatlinburg, Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, just outside of Knoxville, near Dollywood. And all the actors there, you're going to have John Schneider's going to be there. Dean Cain will be there. Chrissy Swanson will be there. Sean Patrick Flannery is going to be there. It's all actors that have done secular movies, but have done a lot of faith-based movies. The vendors, the singers we got going on. We got a charity golf event raising money for a pro-life and adoption agency. So I hope people will come out and support it. It's going to be the end of June. And please come on out. It's a 4-day event.
Kevin, is this going to be like Comic-Con without the furries?
Exactly.
Hey, don't talk about the furries.
I always want to do something like that, because I tell you, half the people, I just did a Comic-Con up in Lexington, Kentucky. Half the people that came to my table were there only for me. They said, we're here because, and they had their families with them because we love the movies that you do. So this is a Comic-Con that's based up to Comic-Cons, but it's called Rise Up Con. It's more, we want anybody to come. I mean, if you're an atheist, I hope you show up.
Absolutely.
But I'm not going to ban you from being there. I hope we do show up. And be nice. If you want to have a conversation, I'm happy to have one.
Absolutely. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your time. Thank you guys for watching this. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Hey, keep doing those awesome movies. I love them.
Thank you.